It's so sad and hard to say these things. You know, when I came out of prison, sometimes 2020 in August, when I started this crusade, people think I was exaggerating or like propagating or making false statements. You know, being to prison is very difficult, but I've never regretted the single day I spent in prison. I was saying this thing, I will continue to say these things. You know, when we are talking about bad governance, the narrow-minded people want to just narrow it now. I will say this thing, I will continue to say these things. It has been started since 1961, but this time is the worst. This is the worst. Salone has never enjoyed pure or proper democracy, 100%. We can't be dishonest to this level. But you know, because of sycophancy and maybe arrogancy to the extent people don't want to say the truth, they just want to, they just want to shift blame to others. If we want to make this country a better country, we have to go back where we came from 60 years ago. We have to go back where we came from 60 years ago. The story of the war, they said the main cause of the war is because of injustice, meaning the police and the judiciary. This is the main cause of the war. It's written in, there are sometimes we have to expose these things. We have to be more robust in educating our people. Some of us are not talking there because we want a job. If I wanted a job, I would have stayed in my job. I was happy. Decided to come out from the job and took another fight because I saw a lot of injustice over the years. I've been fortunate to serve for 28 years. So I know what went wrong during the APC era of Momo and the MPRT1, MPRT2, the Pakaba era, the AFRC, and later Pakaba and Eskroma. So I know what went wrong. I'm not saying these things because we want to condemn President Biu or his government. President Nkrumah did well. He made some mistake. We won't say he did 100%. He made some mistake, but he did well, like upholding some rule of law without intimidation, no political detention, allowed people to express themselves freely, like Al-Fatih and others. Nobody was arrested. I was arrested and detained just because I defended the poor boy. I never knew him from Adam. I said, if you want to use firearms, you must apply all the rules of engagement, meaning the paragraph 1 said, it won't affect your personal right to self-defense, but however, firearms will be the last resort. Paragraph 3 said, when someone is committing a crime or about to commit a crime, not even commit a crime, an act that likely to endanger human life. This is the point, underline the statement. When he's committing a crime, an act likely to endanger, because if I'm committing a crime, but it's not like danger in human life, there's no need for you to eliminate me. I should be arrested and prosecuted. But an act likely to endanger human life, I was arrested just because I said this thing publicly. People started politicizing the statement. But I was happily living in prison because I knew I didn't commit a crime. I just said what I knew. These things I was a chief instructor, so I know them. I would say them from paragraph 1 to 6. I will go to the escalation of force from 1 to 5. I will read them and explain them.
Right.
I think it's just a honest service I did. I spent, in the history of Sierra Leone, nobody was locked up for even a month in solitary confinement. I spent 9 months in solitary confinement, but I was happy because I knew I didn't commit a crime. I was interacting with inmates when we went to court together. I asked them questions because I want to know. I can see we have a lot of people in jail. They are not working any longer because they're crippled. They've been crippled. They spent more time, no proper food, no better medical. The Parema Road prison, I can't explain. It's the only thing. If you go, you can see what I'm saying. You may think it's a joke or maybe it's just a drama. I spent 9 months interacting with these guys. Some people said, I've been here for 4 years. Just a traffic offense without having an indictment. Not like going to court. Without having an indictment. I met with somebody in the court cell. I said, what's your problem? What's your crime? He's been half crippled. He said, my brother, I'm here for 4 years. Today is my first day of coming to court. Without an indictment. So many of us have been arrested because an allegation, the first allegation is that I wanted to overthrow the government. Someone who honorably resigned from service, handing over all my kids. You know what that means. If you want to resign, go, they give you a discharge book. I came with my discharge book and my letter, the letter I wrote and the letter they gave me to the CID. I gave them access to search. I was still charged for subversion. I was still charged for lawful possession of arms and ammunition. Imagine. Then I went to court with 9-count charge. Later, I was released and arrested in the court room. In our laws, 200 meters outside the court, nobody should be arrested. I was arrested again in the court and charged again with another 25-count charge. 19 of the count charge is perverting, which the maximum sentence is death, and the minimum is life imprisonment. Of the 19 because they wanted me dead, because they see me as a threat, especially coming out of like saying things about the security sector, especially the police and the military, which I know.
Right.
I spent so many years, not like wasted years. I was learning and teaching. We have to depoliticize our mentality. We have to, de-radicalize our tribal thinking, because one of the things Sierra Leone, we've suffered this tribal and political line in a regional line basis. It has been there before, but now is the worst about the unlawful detention of Sierra Leoneans, innocent people, including men and women. So I don't get the opportunity to put to and look at radios, not in terms of radio. And
Yep.
I'm still crying for this opportunity. We are trying, but I want the world to pay attention to these things. If I'm thinking of making like when Mandela came out of prison almost 32 or 33 years ago, he made a book. They called the book the Nelson Mandela Rule. And rule. Nelson Mandela said, no one should be in solitary confinement for more than 48 hours. And in Nelson Mandela Rule, he said no one should stay in solitary confinement for more than 48 hours. Imagine, Mandela spent just 10 days in solitary confinement. Imagine, I spent 9 months. Entire life in prison, I was in solitary confinement. So Mandela said in his book, and they have this rule in prison, because they are looking at two rules in the entire prison, I think across the world. Is the Singapore rule, which talks about women's rights more in prison, and the Nelson Mandela rule. Nelson Mandela emphasized on like right to phone, right to free trial. No one should stay in solitary confinement for more than 48 hours. Right to better living. Imagine up to this in this 21st century, we are still using bucket as a toilet. The food in prison, I can tell you this thing for free. If you give that food to a dog outside, the dog will not eat that food. It's a law we live in selective justice. If you not get fame, you not get name, anything happen to you, you die in rotting at jail. Now your family get for suffer the pain. You get for belong to the society of recognition before they begin talk for you. It's a pity. In our laws, if you appear at court 3 times without proper prosecution, you should be acquitted and discharged. I appeared 35 times. I always talk about my judge. He forced himself to give, because like he was being harassed by the State House. No, you must detain him. You must sentence him at least 10 years. Before you try somebody, you should have evidence of your matter. The investigation should have been the matter should have been properly investigated with an evidence. So you see the mess is from the police and the judiciary, because the police is investigating and they are charging. I imagine if they can charge you to court without evidence. Let the prosecutor, the police that prepare the charges, come and read your charges in court, period. But you will be charged maybe by the police to the court, and the court remand you to prison. What will happen now? For you to have an indictment that will take you again to attend court, that is the problem. Now, sometimes if you pass through magistrate court, you will be going, because for every adjournment they say, okay, we adjourn the case to next month. But if they send it for speedy trial, meaning from magistrate court to high court, you can spend months. Imagine about George Williams, a former mayor, and Abubakar Rami spent 11 months before they got the indictment. I spent 21 days. I was lucky because they wanted to. They knew they have the conviction that they would sentence me, or whatever conviction they have. But I have to spend 21 days. In fact, I went to prison without being charged. I went to prison without being charged. To say there's no charge from CID to Panama Road for safe custody. After 21 days, because I was like continuously harassing the prison officers, they said, okay, tomorrow you're going to court. Court for what? I told them myself, I've never been charged. They said, no, you're going to court. I went to court. I met 25 count charge was waiting for me. Without making a statement, I met 25 count charge waiting for me in court at the magistrate's court number 1. One boy was sentenced for 35 years in prison. When I was in jail, when they took me to prison in my separate cell on the 23rd of March, they want to set me up with a phone. They made an allegation that the boy was giving me a phone. The boy was so lucky. This Chief Justice is not my friend. He will never be my friend. But at that point, he did very well. They took the boy because, my case is like different to ONS, SISU, to CID, and they involved with Judicial, the Chief Justice come.
Right.
You are the one giving communicator phone. So they want to make build mountain out of mole. The boy say, Chief Justice, he say, I'm here for 37 years. He say, I've just spent 7 years. So the Chief Justice say, what's it for which reason? Then the boy explained. Then he look at the law. He said, no, your maximum sentence is 3 years. He said, but I've done 7 years. Here and there, the Chief Justice order is released. He was released here and there. So my it's a blessing for him. So imagine someone was about to spend 37 years. He spent 7 years, that would be 3 years. Thank God, because if there was no allegation against me, maybe he would spend it. Until or unless we bring them out. Do you know why Nelson Mandela succeeded? Because when he came out of prison, he was given the platform for him to explain to the world. It was hard. He was taken to US, explaining different platforms. I don't have that opportunity. I'm seeking for these things.
Wise up, come together. We intention for safe we country. Cause this thing with the brain line go down the country. Before they make me land, they people left are angry and wondering, yeah. And just busy for the soul bad seed for divide me. Oh no, it's not a tribal thing, this not bad politics for divide and win. People they suffer, see they no be seen. Just they pack with money left up on the tribal scene. Wise up, join the I4 sing, yeah. Tell me if the price na markets they go down where you show you last name. And the same stuff and no more now we all the left for explain. Oh, if we not keep to all, we not promise them that manifest. We not no need for the do them see how they manifest. Man up from truck through, see them down space. Or them puts you in a tight place. Or you left a far place. Exile from you.